solving multi-step word problems. Let's just get ahead and get started, because the key to this is just practice and understanding how different situations arrange themselves and really thinking mathematically about different word problems. Billy's grandparents pay him to help them each week. They pay him $12 each week to mow their yard. They pay him $2 each week to wash their dog. So I guess he'd make $12 a week and $2 a week if he mowed the lawn and washed the dog. How much will Billy's grandparents pay him in 7 weeks? So now we look at over the course of 7 weeks. What we want to do is really set up like a sketch or an expression. Now the expression is kind of the next step. First thing I would do is kind of think about this. You have $12 each week. So you might say like week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you would say, how much is he making each week? Well, he'd make 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. Wow, this is just a bunch of 12s added up. This is basically 12 times 7. Okay, so that would tell me how much they would pay him to mow their yard. But then it's $2 each week to wash the dog. So at that point, you're like, okay, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And it's the same type of thing. It's 2 times 7. And then what I realized is that I have to actually combine the two to find out how much will Billy's grandparents pay him in 7 weeks. I need to combine both of these because he gets paid for 2 separate jobs. So I can put parentheses around these to make sure I multiply first and add them up. And right here's an expression. An expression is basically a mathematical process that you go through. Like, it just tells me the steps to take. It says do 12 times 7, do 2 times 7, and add them together. And that would get me my result. 12 times 7, I would probably just more likely be to add all of these up. So I would add up all these 12s. Or I can know that 10 times 7 is 70, then 2 times 7 is 14, and 70 plus 14 is going to be 84. So you have 84. Plus 2 times 7 is 14. 84 plus 14. 4 and 4 is 8. Don't have to regroup, so I can kind of do this in my head. 4 and 4 is 8. 8 and 1 is 9. So you end up with 98. And that would be the amount of dollars his grandparents paid him in 7 weeks. The most important thing you need to really be able to do is get to your expression. Expressions are what we work a lot with in multi-step word problem. An expression shows the mathematical steps to solve a problem, like A times B plus C times D, similar to how we had that set up for the other problem there. An equation is another common mathematical term that people often get confused with expression. Expression has no equal sign. An equation shows mathematical steps or concepts that are equal. So like if A times B equals C times D, it's showing that these two, if I actually did them, would be the same number. That's what it's saying, the equal sign. Without an equal sign, you're dealt with an expression that says what to do. This is kind of saying these two things, if I did them, would be equal. Bob sorted his marbles into 8 groups. He put 3 green marbles, 3 red marbles, and 2 purple marbles in each group. How many marbles did he have in all? So I'm looking for how many marbles in all, like a total, alright? He sorted his marble into 8 groups, so I'm immediately thinking 8 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And then he put 3 green marbles, 3 red marbles, and 2 purple marbles in each group. So really I don't necessarily need all 8 groups drawn, I just need one group because every group's the same. So it's one group, and whenever I get in that one group, I just multiply it by 8. Well, there's 3 green, 1, 2, 3, okay, 3 red, 1, 2, 3, and 2 purple, 1, 2. So it looks like I just have to count these up or add them up. So, and then I have to put it in all 8 groups to get my total. So what I would say my expression would be 3 plus 3 plus 2. 3 plus 3 plus 2. That's each group. And then once I add that up, I need to multiply by 8. And if I multiply by 8, I'll have how many marbles did he have in all. I got all of that just from kind of starting to draw a picture and realizing here's an expression I can write. So 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8. And 8 times 8, that equals 64 marbles. Again, most important step is getting to this expression based on a sketch or a mental picture, or just a general understanding of the problem. This chart shows the number of ice cream cones sold in 1 week. There were a total of 400 ice cream cones sold. How many ice cream cones were sold on Friday? So I see here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday has a question mark, and I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Well, I know that total is going to equal 415. So this is one where I probably want to set up an equation, because I would have the 400 is the total, and that's going to equal Monday plus Tuesday plus Wednesday plus Thursday plus Friday. I don't know Friday, so I could almost just call that n as an unknown. And I would do 103 plus 87 plus 56 plus 92 plus n. Now what I do know is that I can actually just add up all of these numbers and get a total to simplify this equation. So I can end up with, let's work this out, 103, 87, 56, line up my place values, 92. Be careful because I might be regrouping more than 10, like I might be regrouping 20s. 3 plus 7 is 10, plus 6 is 16, plus 2 is 18. 8, regroup that 1. 1 plus 0 is 1, plus 8 is 9, plus 5 is 14, plus 9 is 23. This is why I regrouped the 2. I hit a 23, put a 3, bring over, put a 3, bring over the 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. So 338. So it's 400 equals 338 plus n. So all of this here became 338 because it equaled that. Now I can set up the fact family and say, okay, how can I kind of solve for what just n equals? Well, this is where I'd say, oh, well, I know that if I do 400 minus 338, that's another member of this fact family, and that will equal n. So now I come over here and I can do 400 minus 338. So I do 400 minus 338. 0 minus 8 I can't do, need to be regrouped, can't borrow from the 0, have to go all the way to the 4, that becomes a 3. Now this 0 becomes a 10. Now I can start again. 0 minus 8, can't do, so I'll make this a 10, and this 10 will become a 9. I went up into the chart there just for space. So here's a 9, I have a 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. 9 minus 3, I can do that, that's 6. And 3 minus 3 is 0. So I end up with n equaling 62. I can just write that right in the chart. And that would be the number of ice cream cones sold on Friday.